folks, it's Nick Granville. Welcome to Guitar Daily. So thanks so much for everyone who tunes into these daily videos that I make on YouTube. Trying to share stuff that really helps people and helps you become a better player. And in turn, you know, I get some benefit out of seeing people doing that. It really is gratifying to see people doing well and getting the feedback from everyone. So today what I thought I'd talk about is like 5 key ways you can work on your improvisation. I kind of hate this whole 5 list thing that people do, but it seems to be a thing on YouTube, so hey, you got to go with it. So, but anyway, these are 5 things that I found that's super useful. So the overarching thing about this all is going to be about setting limits on your playing, right? A lot of times people, when they start playing, they see all of this and they get really confused. They go, where do I start? You know, there's all these different scales I need to know, and there's this, that, and everything, and where do I start and what do I do? And I think the best thing to do is to start by placing limits on what you do. And then you've got something to kind of go deep with rather than like skimming the surface of everything. So the first thing I'll talk about is position, right? So position on the neck that you play in. If you take something like, I don't know, blues in G, the temptation is to think that I've got a range from here to here. And I do, totally. That's all good stuff. But a better thing to do when you're practicing and you're trying to get better is find a position, say here, and try and see can you play through all the chord changes and all the things you do just playing in that one position. And then I'm having to try to be more creative with less, right? And there's certain things that I played by just doing that I wouldn't have seen had I played here. And spend some time with that. I find with myself like a quarter of an hour little slot on each particular thing seems to be about a good amount of time to kind of get deep into it, but not get kind of too crazy and get bored and end up start noodling like we all do, right? So this number 2 would be think about playing less rhythms. Now, I know that's crazy, right? Because we think we've got all these rhythms, but again, if you set a limit to the rhythms you're going to use, then you'll go deeper with them. So for example, maybe you'll go, I'm just going to play half notes, right? Or quarter notes on this tune, a tune like Stella by Starlight. That's quarter notes. That's a really good one to do. You could do half notes. You could do rhythm like a dotted 8th, 16th, whatever rhythm you can think. But just do one rhythm and see where that takes you, because you'll play differently than you would otherwise. Next one I'd say is dynamics. So let's set a dynamic limit, right? That maybe our limit's going to be that we can only play like MP. Those are the things you are. So you can see there that that's going to make me play very differently. Say I was going to go triple P, or so I was going to go forte, like, or double forte or something, you know, and just see what happens when you do that. When you set a limit on dynamics, then you've got to play with a whole lot more control, and that's going to be wonderful for your improvising. Believe me. Next one I'd talk about is intervals. So set an interval limit. Sometimes I think when guitar players play, we can play things like... I've kind of talked about that sort of thing before where, you know, no singer would ever be able to do that like realistically, right? It's just not going to happen. So let's set a limit, an interval limit. Let's say nothing more than a third. So there's a major third. It's a minor third. So let's take something like, I don't know, a blues. see there, I already broke it, and I played an interval of a flat 5 because I heard it and I followed my ear instead of like being strict about it. But again, that's another good one, right? It's just trying to find an interval that you kind of you stick within, that'll make you play differently. And again, that's what we're searching for, right? A lot of times people ask me, oh, I'm really bored with my playing. What do I do to break out of it? Try this stuff. And the last one I talk about, this is something I got from Nick Granville, from a wonderful book called The Advancing Guitarist, and he talks about playing along one string, the science of the unita, he calls it. Brilliant book. If you haven't checked out The Advancing Guitarist, do. It's one of the greatest guitar books ever. I don't say that lightly. Anyway, so limit yourself to one string. Let's say just the D string, and we're going to play a blues. You can see there that like I was really having to think about things carefully and trying to weave my way through it. So that's another one to try, right? Setting a limit. So that was limit of position on the neck, limit of rhythm, limit of dynamics. Sorry, I've got a list over here. Limit of intervals. I'll show you that. Right, limit of intervals and limit of strings, right? Those are 5 things you can try. Now, any other thing that you can think of that's a limit will be wonderful for your playing. Maybe you'll try, I don't know, only playing triads on a blues. But maybe you might only try it. Whatever you can think of, and just come up with a limit and go, right, I'm going to force myself to just stick within this one parameter, and then explore it and see where it takes you playing. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. I mean, it's a big thing I've done a lot for my playing to try and work on various things. Anyway, if you found this useful, please subscribe. I post every day on YouTube. My name's Nick Granville, as I mentioned. I'm a Wellington, New Zealand-based guitar player. This is what I do for my living. So yeah, your subscription to my channel really helps. And if you like the video, then hit like and share it with people that you know who are into this kind of stuff. That's super useful too. Anything like that you can do is great. And anything you do, I do appreciate. So thank you very much.